Welcome back to Spitballin Cards. In today's video, we're talking all about Shohei Ohtani, and we're going to be spending, well, figuratively spending, about $5,000 to $6,000 and seeing what we can buy and if it's worth that money or if we should put that money elsewhere. So, welcome. We have myself, Scott, Ty, Chris, and Phil in this episode. Last week, we had a video where we discussed a purchase I made of a card, and we talked about, is that card a good buy or would you rather put that money in Ohtani? And everybody in the comments was kind of split, mostly leaning towards Ohtani. But I want to talk about that more in this video. Actually, Chris, this was your idea. You wanted to talk about together what cards could I buy in that specific price range if I was hypothetically looking for one. So do you want to give a little bit of background behind your thought on why we're doing this?
Yeah, I just think, listen, it may just because I'm a Braves fan and I just watched Shohei Ohtani just mercilessly slaughter the Braves pitching staff for three days, but like he's on another level. The home run off Minter was ridiculous. We are recording this on Monday night, and about 10 minutes ago he hit is it 11th home run of the season?
Yeah, straightaway center, 440 feet.
Yeah, so he's like the second most valuable player in the league in WAR, despite never playing any defense. Like, this is a very special. I hear the phrase generational player all the time. But I think he's superseding that.
Yes.
If he is able to pitch again next year, then we're going to be treated again to some of the most amazing baseball we've ever seen. Right now, we are just getting an absolute offensive machine, and it's fantastic to watch. And despite the fact that Shohei Ohtani is the most famous baseball player in the world, our host, our good friends, Scotty B Cards, owns 0 Shohei Ohtani cards. And this has kept me up at night. Like this, it's weird. I can't get over it. It reminds me like 2 years ago, I owned no Mike Trout cards. And I was getting raked over the coals on Instagram about this. Like, how can you say you love baseball? You don't have any Mike Trout cards. So I remedied that. And yeah, that's cost me some money. So thanks for that. But I do think we need to get Scott a Shohei Ohtani card. So I thought Phil and Teapot and I could come together and give him some options for what money he's willing to spend or what money of his we're willing to spend for him. And we can see if we can make his collection a little bit better tonight.
My one issue I've already had is I've looked at his cards and I'm way over budget. The cards I want are like $15,000 to $20,000. So yeah, we're going to have to find the right card. It's like the matchmaking game right here.
Right.
Behind
I feel like this group is. We've done the Soto draft and the Ohtani draft, and we've talked about the cards, that we would go after. And there's kind of a broader group of maybe what I would call like informed collector investors, and there's a subset of cards that we know you want to target for long-term viability. And the problem, like you're saying, Scott, is that those are the ones that are all like 10K plus for Ohtani now. And it's tough. You're looking at it going, I don't want to spend $7,000 on a Bowman's Best Ohtani auto. Like, I don't want to do that. That's not the auto I want. I want the red ink, or I want this, or so this should be a fun exercise to go through, and probably one of futility, but we'll see.
Yeah, and Ty, you weren't here on the last episode, right? When we had this huge debate.
I was not.
So no. I wish you would have been, because you might have been on my side a little bit more than Jeff and Chris were. They were ganging up on me, and for good reason. That's the way they collect. But that's my thought process, right? Like, I believe that high-end stuff is great long-term. I do. But the problem is that high-end stuff costs $20,000 already. And so the barrier to entry is so high for an average person to get into. And I am concerned, this is all leading up to the actual, we're going to be looking at the stuff in that $4,000 to $6,000 range right now, right? It might just be a little bit too much because everybody's trying to get like the next best thing. But let's say Ohtani has another pitching injury. Let's say Ohtani has just a down half in the second half. There is so much room to drop, like you saw with Mike Trout, right? There was a little bit too high. So that's what I was concerned about. But I would love to have you change my mind. It's not that I don't think he's great. It's not that I don't like him as a player or a person. And the gambling stuff all seems to be swept under the rug or just not true whatsoever. It's not that. It's just the cost compared to how much money I have. So let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I totally understand. Like, it's expensive. So I think one of the first things I want to show you is a non-auto. So let's pull up his 2018 Topps Series 2, number 700, his first flagship card, his touching helmet SSP.
Okay, let me share my screen.
This is his first flagship SSP card. And I believe the last PSA 10 sold for between $5,000 and $6,000. So this would fit your price range.
So here's a CGC. I probably wouldn't buy this. That corner's brutal.
Yeah.
But here's what the card is, right?
Yes. This is what the card looks like. It is extremely difficult to find. It's his rarest. I know people like the update hitting image more, but this one, the PSA pop is there are 12 gems and 61 total at PSA. This is probably an 8 looking at that corner, but this is his rarest flagship image variation, and I like it a lot. In terms of non-autos, I think this might be his best, like non-parallel auto. Or
So
non-auto, non-parallel.
Can I ask you a question on this card?
Yeah.
Do you think, as a collector, there's too much explanation behind why this is a cool card when he has a Stadium Club short print, he has 2 Series 2 short prints, and he has 2 update short prints, to actually have this card have the capacity to go significantly higher? That's my concern, right? Like that's my thing is there's equally desirable short prints. And like, how would you answer that concern?
I'm assuming. All right, I'll answer first. This is the short print, as opposed to the other ones, sort of pulling this one down. This is the one that will push the other ones down. Like this one is just the best one. There are over 100 of the Bowman Chrome carrying bags. There are about 70 PSA 10s of the batting image and update. There's about 60 PSA 10s of the pitching image and update. I think there's 20 of the Stadium Club, but we all know, as much as I love Stadium Club, Teapot loves Stadium Club. Stadium Club is definitely, you hesitate to invest your money in something like Stadium Club. It's a collector set, not necessarily something that we expect to, necessarily shoot up in value. This is Topps. This is flagship. This is his first. It's the first SSP. So I think this is the one that will always stand above the rest. It's selling for about twice what all the other ones are right now.
Okay.
And the pop report, I mean, like we said, it's like 1/5, 1/6 the PSA 10 count.
Okay. So that's door number 1. So what we'll do is we'll hear fewer options, and I'll pick which one I like best. How does that sound?
That works.
Phil, I don't think you said anything in these first 8 minutes.
Yeah,
so how you doing, man?
Here I am. I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. Just looking to spend 10 grand on Ohtani. Anything you want to recommend?
Yeah. So I share similar reservation to you, Scott, with this card here, because I do think there is a little bit of a story that needs to be told, unfortunately. And one of the reasons I think Chris brought up some compelling arguments with regards to the pop, it being the most rare of the first short prints that came out is certainly a help as well. The image itself, I mean, whatever. It's an image of him holding his head, which I guess was similar to a lot of other players that had SSPs in this set, as Chris pointed out many episodes ago. I would tend to go with, and I'm going to probably list off 3 cards here if that's okay. So the Bowman Chrome Auto base, either pitching or hitting. I tend to like the pitching better. A lot of people like the hitting better. You're looking at about $4,500 in like a BGS 9 or a PSA 9. These cards are SP'd. So we all know the Bowman Chrome multipliers that exist that some people may or may not use. The flaw with that, with using those for Ohtani, is you're kind of doing that calculation based off the base card being printed just like any other base card, but the base card's SP'd. So if anything, all of his colors are overvalued relative to the base if those same multipliers stand. So if the gold is selling for about 10x the base, which I think it kind of does, then the gold should probably be a little bit closer to the base, because in PSA 10, both the hitting and the pitching base Bowman Chrome Auto are really only about 60 with the population of the PSA 10. So I would consider a beat up copy, hopefully a BGS 9, PSA 9 with a clean auto if you can find it.
Let's talk about sold listings and see where we're at with it. So May 1st, this one best offer, we can jump over to one of the amazing Ty, if you want to pull market moves up for these, but about 10 grand for the hitting in a good condition. Here's a pitching 9 that actually went for a pretty decent deal, but that was in April. So these comps are gone. They're gone now. So I don't think I'll ever be able to find one of those for that price again. I think we're pushing for like a 9, 8,000.
I don't know. I
7,000?
mean, Scott, I mean, prices have gone up, but how much have they gone up by? And there haven't been any sales above, I don't think, like $5,000 or 5,500 on nines.
Let's look. Ohtani. So I guess my point is, you have to be patient with that card to get an auction.
You would. You'd have to find somebody who doesn't really know what they have, maybe, or somebody that auctions it. And rough week for Ohtani. Another injury, and you want a bigger discount.
So here's this card last 12 months. So this is all time. Sorry, last 12 months starts right here. So this was about $5,000, $6,000, and now it's $9,000. So I guess it's not up that much. But this was the opportunity to buy, I guess, and that was missed.
All right. Okay. Is that what grade?
That was a 9 for the pitching. No, that was a 9 for the hitting. Here's the 9 for the pitching. This is the story of this card. It was as low as.
Oh, that's interesting.
It actually was higher last summer when he was really hot. 6,000. Last two sales were 5 and 4.7.
All right. Yeah, that's the one I was looking at in my search. So if that one's out of reach, then you've also got the Bowman Chrome refractor, which is numbered to 499, as we've talked about in our snake draft. I think that's all of our favorite base card of Ohtani. Unlike the Topps Chrome, the Topps Flagship, he's only got one Bowman Chrome rookie, and it's the hitting pose, which you don't really get many of those or any of those from the Topps Flagship and Chrome base cards. So a PSA 10, you're looking at about 3,800, at least with the last few sales. Again, some of those might be a little bit older. I think one was kind of recent. So a little expensive for a card that's numbered to 250 with a pop that's probably not super low and it's not autographed.
Phil, I just want to stop right there. When you said number to 250, are you still talking about? Did you go to the purple, or we're talking about the
number to 499? My bad.
This one right here. Here's one on auction that ends tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning.
Oh, it's already at 3,500.
Beautiful card. Like,
you could get it for under 4 if you really wanted it. Maybe.
If you watched our other video, this Ohtani refracts, whereas some of the new Bowman stuff looks like it might not be refracting much. This Ohtani refracts.
Okay. What's the next one?
In the last card or cards I'll talk about, and disclosure, I do have both of these cards. Black Parallels, and Series 2 is sort of outselling it by almost 2x at this point. But I'm specifically talking about PSA 10 Topps Flagship Black Parallels from Update, either the US 1 base card where he's pitching or the rookie debut card where he's hitting. And those are going to run you probably around 4,000 or 5,000, or maybe a slight increase, as you said, Scott, because his stuff is up over the last few months. But certainly below 6, I think you could still get those cards for. And we're looking at pop 4, pop 5-ish. And you've got the classic black parallel. You don't have to explain why it's important, hopefully, or maybe you still do. Now, they didn't come first. The Series 2 card came first. The pose isn't any better, in my opinion, with Series 2 versus Update US 1. Chris might disagree. I'm not sure. But at one point, the Update base cards and parallels were selling for more than Series 2. And that shifted. I'm not saying it'll shift back, but it was there before. So, I don't know. Could be a key card.
What do you think of the debut blacks?
Yeah. So I include that as well. And those sell very similarly. So if you look at the Topps Chrome Update parallels, I mean, those are going to sell very close, like within 10%, 10-15% of the US 1 or HMT1 from Chrome Update. So people definitely like those a lot because of the hitting pose. And it's, I think, our favorite image from like a flagship base card of his from Topps, at least from Topps Series 2 / Update.
Okay, Ty, are there any cards that you like?
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen and let's take a look at some stuff. I'm going to kind of walk through a little exercise of why I feel like I have the same thought around this that you might, Scott. Like, it's like, I'd like to get a nice card, but I'm not really willing to overpay for a lot of these cards that are selling in a price range that might be, accessible. So I'll share my screen here on Market Mover sales history. And I'm going to kind of like go through these fast and just talk through it. So, do you want a 2018 Topps Chrome Freshman Flash Orange Auto Refractor? No. Do you want a 2018 Diamond Icons red ink card that nobody's ever even heard of before? No. Then you get into this game with the BGS 10s where I don't want a BGS 10. I don't want to overpay for that. So I'm going to do, I don't want this. So I'll remove those from the equation here. You could get a, token Bowman Chrome auto. That doesn't feel very exciting for any of those. Then you're getting into a gold refractor BGS 9.5. Okay, that's a nice card. What are the subgrades on it? We'll pop that open. Looks like pretty strong corners, 9. Not too bad. Then I've got a Shohei Ohtani rookie auto, numbered to 150. Blue refractor, BGS 9.5. That sold for $7,800. I should say the prices for our Spotify listeners.
Yeah, for Spotify listeners, they spelled Shohei wrong. That's why Ty said it that way.
Yeah, it's just spelled wrong.
He's not trying to be just making it. Yeah, that's what it was.
These are the joys of working in a data tool too when you're trying to match data. Then this random 2023 Topps Dynasty World Baseball Classic with, I don't know, kind of a so-so patch, 2 of 10. Sold for almost $6,000, $5,750. The Bowman's Best Gold Refractor. I don't know. I guess this is kind of cool. That's kind of a nice card.
Again, if you look at Soto and Acuna, I know we're comparing apples to grapes because it's way worth less, smaller. But it's one of those things where these cards drastically undersell.
Yeah. Everything. So this is the best of 2018 gold, numbered to 50, PSA 9. That one sold for $66.50. More Dynasty stuff. You definitely don't want an optic rated rookie auto orange PSA 10 for $4,500. Kind of going down the list. This is like the worst patch I've ever seen in a Dynasty. It just looks like DNA helix across the bottom of red and black with just like a white napkin. And somebody apparently paid $7,300 for that card. You got a 2023 Topps Transcendent 1959 auto superfractor 1 of 1, just raw, that sold for over $5,000. Nobody's going to remember that card. Complete set gold, numbered to 50. And then
that, by the way, sneakily is one of his best images his rookie year. I don't know why they buried it in this complete set chrome parallel.
It is a great image. I agree. It is a really great image. I mean,
that's my beef though, Chris.
Why isn't this on US 1 for crying out loud?
Topps Chrome Sapphire, Topps Chrome Update, Topps Chrome Complete Set.
Yep. Do you want a orange refractor auto number 25 sticker auto? No.
Yeah, I'm watching this, listening to this, and I'm just like, there's your answer, Scott. Don't buy Ohtani right now.
This card is an interesting one.
Yeah.
In my opinion. The 2018 Topps Now dual auto with Acuna, numbered to 49. This is I think this is blue, isn't it? Yeah, blue.
Yeah. Probably the best Topps Now card ever made.
Yeah, that could be an interesting one. This 2023 Topps Chrome Sapphire, I don't think this actually sold. I think I just checked Terapeak and it's not there. So I have a feeling this one probably didn't actually sell because a raw.
One thing I'll note, Ty, before you read that next comp, that PSA 10 pitching, we are now in March. So these sales.
Back too far.
I did the last 90 days. So I'm just like, eyeballing.
Obsolete.
Yeah. I mean, we can, like you said, we're going in reverse chronological order. I mean, this card's awesome looking.
But he's going to have those his entire career. He's going to have dozens and dozens of
5-star jumbo prime autograph with a big Nike swoosh, on card auto 1 of 1. Very cool looking card. But like you said, you're not looking to put this much money into a 6th year, 5th year, whatever card like that. This one came up on our Ohtani draft. I think Jeff drafted the Kanji Gaudy auto.
Yeah, we told him he couldn't, then we gave him a special exemption.
We draft it. So $7,800 though for a BGS 9 with a 10 auto. So I mean, it's just like very, very slim pickings. Very slim pickings. Even though Ohtani has 1 million cards, if you're like in this price range, I don't know.
Slim pickings for stuff that feels like it's going to maintain. That's
right. That's right. Exactly.
You need to be in like the $10,000 to $15,000 range.
Yeah, and just for perspective, so I put in $5,000 to $8,000 for the last 90 days as my price range for Ohtani. And there are 100 cards that have sold for that much money in the last 90 days of Ohtani.
Do Trout real quick. I just want to see how much there is.
Yeah, it's another takeaway for me on this is that like 6-year cards of Ohtani are selling for $5K plus. Like that's good news for Ohtani's market, and that might make a lot of the rookies we're talking about undervalued at the end of the day. If people are just like accumulating right now, that are just collecting Ohtani, like they're just building, they're not flipping out of them. So his market caps per year are just increasing. This is the old Trout, thing that we had going on, where like you could buy veteran cards that were valuable, like even base stuff. Maybe we'll get back there. At first, I was going to make a joke. The market's hot again. We're in 2020, 2021, but it's a great sign for Ohtani's market.
I would personally, like, my answer is I would personally not be putting money into Ohtani right now.
Does it feel overheated at all? Or not yet?
It's down.
I'm surprised he's held as well as he has.
Like Ohtani's market's down from last summer, right?
But that doesn't mean that it's not still too hot. It is down. I agree, and he could get back there pretty easily. But
how far is it down? Are you going to check, Teapot? So I'm curious, like versus last July.
Yeah, I mean, like even this card. So I'm just looking at the last year. This card
it's pretty.
Last year was 15,000, and it just sold for 12. I guess it's pretty.
So it's getting closer.
Yeah. So he is. I guess he's down. Boy, that's hard to believe that this card was.
That card sold for almost 20K.
Yeah.
A couple
What
sales.
did the orange go for? Most recent weekend, I think it was Golden
right here.
Elite.
Yeah, 36.6.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a tough, man. It's tough.
That was yours, Scott. That's the one you should have bought. Just like finance it like a car, 72 months, 10% interest.
Yeah, that never got anybody into trouble.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, these are the, I guess these are the cards. You could get a blue, just go all in.
Blues right now or what? Like, I don't think you could find a blue.
26.
I'm not looking on eBay. I'm not looking at PWCC. I'm not looking at Alt. Alt might have some on their liquid auctions, actually, if I look at Alt. But it's one of those things where you got to buy them on this point, because if you don't, you're going to be paying up.
Yeah. And now that we're talking about buying like big ticket cards, I think this is either a bearish or a bullish sign for Ohtani, and those in the comments can chime in. But I made a comment, and maybe it was the last week's episodes or a week before that, where I talked about how I'm a little turned off that Ohtani's Bowman Chrome autograph stuff, is high-end stuff, is constantly being turned over in auctions.
Yes. Like
for the last 2-3 years, every month you see either a blue, refractor, atomic, some other parallel, most recently an orange. A lot of golds are selling. So at some point, the bullish case would be at some point that stops and people start to hold his stuff, and that supply constraint causes prices to go up. But
my issue though,
showing that people with his stuff are prospecting. They have shaky hands. They're not looking to be invested for a long time. They don't have strong, like, long-term confidence in the card. They don't want to be the ultimate end owner of the card. And that could be, a sign of maybe pessimism.
Yeah.
We're going to say Scott.
I'm sure there's people that bought last summer, at near peak, and now they're seeing him get hot again, and maybe they want to. Maybe they have cold feet. They're not sure he's going to come back and pitch again. Maybe they want to cash out on some stuff. Very possible.
My issue though is this: two different images. I know maybe I bled out of water too much. His blue isn't out of 150. It's out of 300. His gold is not out of 50. It's out of 100. It's kind of like, the Ichiro that has the Bowman. His Bowman Chrome has an English and a Japanese version. Those are both less than they would have been if they were each individually out there by a big margin. When I was I was almost bought one of those. And when I was looking at them, a lot of people, that was their main reservation. And their point was, because there's two versions, no one knows what really is the best one. Like, that is really a concern for me. And it may be overblown, but it's kind of what stopped me in the past. And obviously I've missed out on these realized gains right here. Like, these are big sales. But it just makes me concerned, because once the music does stop, if it stops, there is double the stuff out there that'll drop it faster to me.
Yeah. No shimmers or waves. So what you should do, Scott, topic for a video or some analysis, is you love doing this stuff. compare his total number of serialized Bowman Chrome autos, pitching and hitting pose, versus a guy from the year before, Acuna, that did have some extra stuff, and versus a guy from a year ahead, J-Rod, who did have some extra stuff. And obviously Otani's still going to be higher. And don't do it for base, because we know Otani's going to win with base, because 2 short prints is still less than, the 2,300 to 3,500 that they print for most guys base. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, the serialized, I'm kind of curious to see what that would amount to, because it seems like more than it maybe is. I don't know. It seems like, I don't know. It's weird.
I can probably do the math right now because both rainbows aren't that big, but each has a orange. So there's 50 each. Let's just do it simply. So we have red superfractor. There's 6. Then we have the orange out of 25. So there's 31 plus 50, 81. Green out of 99. What is that? 170.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have, is that it? Blue out of 150. So that's 320. And there's 2 different parallels. We have the atomic. Yeah, the atomic.
Yeah, just one, I think.
Yeah,
or is there other 2?
No, just the one.
Okay.
So 350 times 2. So now we're looking at 700. How much is the atomic number 2? 100?
100.
So there's 800 numbered Ohtani Bowman Chrome autographs. And obviously, I know they're not all made the same. They're not. But if we did the same exercise for someone like Trout, he has the refractor. But I think we can exclude the refractor. Do you agree? It's out of 499. I don't think it's even. I think it's comparable to his base. Is that fair? Or do you want to include that in the total autograph number?
Exclude it. Maybe.
So 225.
You have to double it for Ohtani.
I don't think Otani has refractor autos, though.
No, he doesn't. That's why that's why I'm excluding the Trout when I'm comparing it to Otani. So let's just say
I didn't even realize that. Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to exclude it. So 225 for the X Fractor, 150 for the blue. So now we're at 375, right? Yeah, 375. The gold orange is another 75. So 450. My point is, so it's tough. It's tough. So even with the X Fractor, it's basically even to Ohtani with Trout. Trout has about 1,000. Ohtani has 800.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that tells me, if anything, but it's just a little bit crazy.
Yeah, it tells you that I think despite the 2 images, like there isn't, it's not overpopulated.
It's on pace with the number of Mike Trout numbered refractors out there.
Yeah.
The color is overpopulated if you don't call the X Fractor a color. Versus Trout, but that's versus Trout. We're talking like 10-year difference almost. A lot happened in the hobby during those years.
Well, I'm just talking about the downfall of Trout's pricing we've seen from the last little bit of injury.
Well,
that's the music stopping. It's kind of what I'm getting at. That's the downside risk to me.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say, but Ohtani, he's going to be all-time great status. He's done things no one has. He's going to make the playoffs. He's going to win championships. So maybe that's not going to be apples to apples.
Yeah, it's too early to say. He hasn't done.
Are we just talking in circles here?
Yeah, a little bit. So I want to know your opinion on another card. Getting back to the card, how do you feel about the Heritage autos? Because again, like Bowman Chrome, he has 2 different images, but they're both.
I would love them if there was one of them. Like truly, that's what it boils down to for me. Because there was a Redding that just ended tonight, actually, for $10,500 for a BGS 9.5 for the Redding.
That's like the first series, right? Like the kind of with his glove image.
Yeah, the kind of goofier looking image compared to the one that's kind of like a magazine cover image.
Yeah.
So I like those cards. I would say, would you say that's one of his top 3 autographs, the Red Ink?
Yes,
both of them as one.
That's the other issue is he has so many autographs. I don't know if I'd count it because you have Topps Chrome Sapphire. That's epic.
Yeah.
And you have Bowman Chrome and Topps Chrome and Heritage. And you also have Dynasty. Like there's just so many options.
There are fewer total Dynasty autos of Ohtani than Red Ink autos from both of the Heritage sets. Because 60 something plus 60 something is greater than 100-ish.
You'd have to think that I'm on Ty's side right here with those Dynasty cards right now, thinking about it.
Well, Otani's Dynasty stuff, his non-rookie, well, even his rookie, the one of one, just sold for like 8,000 more than it did 6 months ago. I guess whoever bought it on Golden bought it raw and got it graded. They got a BGS 9 with a 10 auto. I don't know that moves the needle much, like generally speaking. So that one bumped up $8K through an eBay sale a month ago. But a lot of his non-rookie Dynasty stuff has just been killing it too. Like that stuff's definitely gone up in price in the last 6 months.
Okay, so now there are a few cards I've recently seen that I want to share with you to hear your thoughts. These are the stuff that kind of made me think, oh, that's kind of cool, right? So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to talk about those. So the very first one is going to be this one. What do we think of the Topps Chrome autographs, and what do we think of the gold wave? Obviously, it's going to be less than the gold. And Topps Chrome, for whatever reason, maybe it's the image, has never really picked up in a weird way. It's like never been a driving product with Ohtani's cards, but I feel like it should. It's just as good of a like rookie autograph as the Bowman Chrome rookie autograph. Obviously, you have the concept of the first Bowman being on those Bowman Chromes, but do you think this could be something? Because if this stays below 10 grand, it's an interesting option.
Yeah, I'm on record as not liking waves for sure. But you're right. This card feels disrespected a little bit. I think it's just the image is a little too close. And I've talked to people. Someone at a show told me that the reason they don't like the Topps Chrome auto is because it's not a hitting image. I'm like, I hate to tell you, but it is. So in his mind, yeah, there's a bat in the image. So yeah, I do think this one's a little bit disrespected. Not this one in particular, because it's a wave, but the image is just a little bit weird.
Okay, so that's my first. Any other thoughts on this card before I jump to the next one?
Yeah, and we've talked about this before, Scott, and maybe on this this podcast too, so I'll keep it short. But his higher end Topps Chrome autographs there's like a glass ceiling of opportunity cost that's squishing them down. So you would think that you take most Topps Chrome autographs of like Bobby Witt, the orange is going to sell for right around like 3x the blue. With him, it might be closer to 2x. You don't get that huge upside. You don't get that huge kind of bounce from blue and green to some of the more rare colors with him. So with Gold Wave, where does that make it stand? I would still pay more than the blue for this, but not much more, probably because of what I just pointed out.
Okay. Here's the next card. This is an Independence Day. You can see it's beat up, but it is signed with a very good signature and graded by PSA as an authentic and an autograph 10 grade. What do we think of this card? Is it bad in your eyes to have this on-card autograph, or do you think it's interesting because there are two different 76 parallels from Update and from Series 2? Well, one from each, making it 2 total, I should say.
Yeah, the whole Series 2 parallel explosion thing combined with the Independence Day explosion thing, especially from 2018. I mean, they do look beautiful, and I know when we did the draft, we did, I think, rank the Independence Day over the black, and I get that, but I think I sensed a little bit of manipulation with the Independence Day cards of Otani last year. They started going for ridiculous amounts, or there's probably a 9 that went for over 10K at a certain point in time. I remember somebody was trying to sell one in a Facebook group, and I'm like, how the hell did he come up with that price? I'm like, oh my God. Then I looked at the comp, and I'm like, that makes no sense at all. And then he was holding it, and he continued to list it in the same Facebook group on and off for a period of 4 or 5 months. He probably still has it. So that weird kind of those anecdotes would cause me to probably avoid the card a bit, but 7,500, it's autographed. I don't know. It seems kind of cool. Seems kind of unique, but because of liquidity reasons with a card that's kind of signed after the fact, it's not a pack pulled or top certified auto. I tend to stay away from those cards especially at high values.
Okay. Ty, what do you think?
Because he has so many pack pulled autos, this doesn't really intrigue me.
And I don't think Chris will like it.
No, I ultra modern in-person autos, they do nothing for me. I understand on paper this should be an exciting card, but because like you guys just said, he has so many pack pulled autos. It's a cool PC piece, but for $7,500, no way.
Okay. Next card is an Independence Day. Has the right subs you want to see. 9.5 corners.
Oh yeah.
Meaning because there's a lot of fake BGS 9.5s out there with 9 corners.
Yes.
And then the centering, who cares if it's off center a little bit? It's one of those sets where centering doesn't really matter, to be honest with you, if you graded with PSA. Edges are a 9. I don't see, maybe right there at the top, but unless it's hidden behind that, right there probably is the edge. But this is an interesting card, $6,500. It's an Independence Day. Phil already mentioned that it is manipulated potentially. What would you get this card if it was $5,000? Does that interest you?
Yes. Short answer, yeah. I mean, yeah, like this parallel is pretty great. It's the best year, the best parallel, or the best year of this parallel.
Yeah.
Well, it looks incredible. Yeah, I would say this is what, like, the black and the Independence Day, I think they have, like, their floors make it feel a little bit safer. They're so rare. Like, you don't expect the pops to kind of jump from here, where they are. Right now, there's 2 PSA 10s of this that exist.
And I'm guessing this person probably tried to cross grade it. So
yeah,
safe to say it's probably not a PSA 10.
Yeah. It like you, Scott, first thing when I see it be just 9.5, I look at the corners of a paper card like this. I see a lot of overgraded 9.5 corners, but this one looks pretty solid actually.
Yeah.
I did bring up the whole manipulation thing from last year. I don't know if that's still affecting comps today. I know a PSA 10 Independence Day of Soto went for like around 8,000 recently, and a bunch of the guys in my Juan Soto thread were pissed that they missed out on it, and that was Juan Soto, although that was a PSA 10. So yeah, I mean, I think if you get this card for $5,000 of Ohtani, I think that makes sense. Looks pretty clean.
There's the edge right there.
Oh yeah,
and here's the edge right here. This is actually located in a spot. Makes you wonder if this used to be in a PSA case, and that's bumper damage.
Oof.
You know what I'm talking about?
That's just one. That's one soak away. One good soak away from.
Nice one, Ty. Okay, next one. It's simple. Great card.
Yeah.
It's gonna be out of my price range probably, but if this goes for $10,000, it seems like a pretty good option. Obviously, Beckett's brand isn't as strong as it used to be. What you're looking at. This might be a very brutal video for those on Spotify, and I'm so sorry if it is. Maybe you don't even upload this one to Spotify. But was I frozen there for a second?
No.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so this one, what do you guys think? What would you pay for this? $8-10,000? Where are you at?
I think it's great. The auto looks fantastic. It's big, it's bold, all on the card. You can read the whole thing. I don't see any like smudging or anything. Looks great. And yeah, I for cards like this for him, I would look for like BGS slabs. I'd look for SGC slabs or whatever, garbage slab this stuff might be in, and try to get a deal. Try to pay less than you would for a PSA. Man, this card looks great.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and
next card. This is out of my budget, but I love this card so much.
This is where you get yourself into trouble, Scott.
This is where you get yourself into trouble.
This is like when you go on Zillow and you just keep moving that max price slider up by $10,000 increments for the house you're looking for. And the next thing you know, you can't afford cards anymore because
this is the card I would buy of Ohtani. This is exactly what I'm looking for. This is the Sapphire 2018 Topps Chrome autograph, very short printed. Yep. It's just out of my
budget. But Scott, your wife wants a pergola. So like this isn't
all right. That one's out.
Well, with that card, what's the pop report compared to the number to 25 orange?
Orange is the same.
I think it's lower at PSA.
Yeah, the annoying part is the story you have to tell. Well, it's not serialized, but because we're not in 2021 anymore.
Yeah,
people are infatuated with serial numbers, unfortunately, but
for good reason.
This, when all is said and done, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if Ohtani does what we think he's capable of, this card is going to grow in iconic status. It has to. Yep. It's just not as recognized today as where it could be. You know what I'm saying? Just like the image itself, it's not, and that gives it upside is where I'm going.
Yeah. Okay. And then the last one, actually, there's one more after this I want to show you. What do we think of this Dynasty?
I prefer technically the patch might be 3 colors. I appreciate the seller is not listing it as such, but there is a little glimpse of white in there. It looks like, I think you can get, there you go. I think you can get a superior patch for about $10,000. I'd pay even 11 for a superior patch. It's numbered at 10. Clean auto. I like, he's got a number of poses with his Dynasty cards. Most aren't hitting poses. I wouldn't get too picky because literally you'll be searching forever for one within your price range if you want a great patch and the hitting pose and a good auto. But yeah, I think that's a solid card.
Yeah, I like the Dynasty.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. This episode's getting a little bit long. This gold refractor from Topps Chrome. This is something that's always intrigued me. Lower than my budget. It's in my budget.
Yep.
What's my concern? And I'd love to have you challenge me if you disagree. Topps Chrome Sapphire, Topps Chrome Update, Topps Chrome Complete Set, Topps Chrome Complete Set, Relic, Refractor, and everything in between. Does that kill this card? Like, is this card just not a long-term investment for that reason?
I think this one is.
Yeah, I think all those other ones kill each other, but they don't kill this one.
Then why isn't this card more? The Bowman Chrome Gold. I know it matches his Bowman Chrome autograph. It's like $15,000 compared to this at $4,500. Like, it feels like it is killing it a little bit.
It's a better image.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I didn't even say the Topps Chrome Update hitting image. So there's another one.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go. And you could argue that like the flagship black parallels, which are numbered to a little bit more than this, and there are many of those, like they all kind of eat away at each other. The nice thing about flagship parallels is you're getting the best cards in that product. Now I know it's flagship and it's not Topps Chrome, but here the better cards would be the hitting pose autograph.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna look up Topps Chrome Gold Update 2018 Otani. Wonder how much these are, if they're even available. I came in. Oh, here's hitting pose. $14,000. That seems not reasonable.
No, that's a little bit silly because it's just the rookie debut. I mean, if they put that image on US one, that might be a $10,000 card. But
if that card was the US one, that'd be really great. So here's one that sold for $2,200. Gold 9. So, anyways, so what's our thoughts here? Is there anything that we've looked at today? I like yours, Chris. I like that the super short print. What do you think after doing this is the best purchase? Would you all say?
I like that Independence Day.
Independence Day tie?
The BGS 9.5.
Yeah, I think if we're staying strictly in your budget with what's available, I would say I think that Independence Day, like Ty said, because the Bowman Chrome Auto and a PSA 9 is going to cost you. You have to go over your budget. That's definitely the better card, but it is going to cost you. You're going to have to step up and sell some more blood or whatever other fluid you can cash out on. To each their own. But yeah, I do love the touching helmet card. I think that's cool. I know he also can you just pull up because people are going to talk about it. Can you pull up the update SSP, the hitting one? It currently sells for less because it's easier to find. But in terms of like pure image,
is it this one?
No, there's a hitting one. That's the pitching one, which is also great. The hitting one is like there you go, background. Yeah. There we go. Sold for about $3,000.
Yeah. Sorry, there's the image. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of like just best flagship image overall, this might be it.
But it's way more plentiful, is the takeaway.
Yeah, I think
you say it's 100.
I'm sorry.
How many did you say there are of this? Like 100?
PSA 10s, they're about 70.
Oh.
And I mean, Phil, correct me if you've heard this number too, but update SSPs like the Soto Gatorade, the Acuna Vertical. I've heard the number 300 as like the
300. That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's definitely more of those than there are of the Series 2, but that's probably his best flagship image.
What about this guy?
Blue focused.
What do we think of the Sapphire? Too many of them?
10 years from now, that'll bounce back. I think it will, but how long are you willing to wait? You're going to get bored of that card so quickly. I mean,
I would. That's my issue with all these cards. I know they're all amazing. They're amazing cards, but you all know me well enough now after doing this for 7 months on these videos. I really move things too quickly at times to buy something else. That's like I keep all baseball card purchases to baseball card money. If I didn't, I would be divorced right now. And so I'd be worried if I had this card, I would just say, okay, well, this is great, but what about this? I don't know. I feel like I might just move it too fast.
All right. So the cards you should buy, Scott, the Bowman Chrome Auto be just 9.5 for under 9. The Independence Day for $53.50 be just 9.5, or the Topps Chrome Sapphire Auto for $13,780.
What if he says 14 flat? Would you do it?
I said my number. All I have, cash. Do you want it?
I have
I'll walk
spoken.
away.
Yeah, I have spoken.
Okay, well, I think this whole exercise was fun. So I guess the question, Chris, I know you're very high on Ohtani. You think that the ceiling has not been hit yet?
Probably not. No, we were close last summer, but I would say no. I don't think we're there yet.
Okay.
And I don't think he's shown us everything he can do yet either.
Yeah, if he hits as well and pitches to a top 5 Cy Young candidate, he's gonna have like a 15 WAR.
But so what? So his hitting pace right now, wow, this is crazy.
Are you on Fangraphs on Pace for stats?
I'm on baseball. I'm on Baseball Reference, and he's already got a 2.4 WAR.
No
He's
defense.
just hitting. He's just hitting.
Okay,
I mean,
I'm gonna blow your mind real quick.
Can you pull
What's
up the
not
baseball
big-
savant page?
Scott, what's not baked in yet is that he could make a run at 60 homers. That will be baked in by July or so, if he's doing that. But
that's what I was just. That's where you're going. Exactly where I was, Phil.
Yeah. The macro, like the high level view, you take us. We're just baseball card nerds. Whatever. Scott's a flipper. He just admitted to it.
I'm not a flipper.
And this is the only interesting player in baseball right now. And even though he's not pitching right now, people know that he's going to be pitching next year. People know he's a two-way player. So he still gets credit for being a pitcher, even if he doesn't pitch this year. You know what I mean? Like, I still think I'm trying to like put this in like percentages, and like he's everything to everybody right now. And there are so few distractions from him, like Soto, Judge, Acuna, these other guys. Some of them have gotten off to slow starts. Some will probably emerge, but like to a casual, to an outsider, I know those aren't the people that are driving up prices, but I feel like that matters. It's sort of like football and Mahomes. It's Mahomes and nobody else. In baseball, it's turning into Ohtani and literally no one else. He deserves a lot of credit right now.
He's
hurt. He's doing all this hurt, basically.
He's killed Trout. I think Trout's like hobby status has a lot of reasons why it's kind of dying, but I think Ohtani's a big part of it. I really do. Because he's not the all-time great, and it's obvious now. I love Trout. I think he's going to be in all-time great.
Well,
but like,
I think there's also something funky going on with Bryce Harper right now, where like a lot of his cards are going for insane prices, and people are starting to talk about Harper being better than Trout or having a better career, and I don't think that's helping Trout either. Like, I think the fact that Harper's still been like relevant and had these iconic playoff moments and stuff has actually put pressure down on Trout. And then the fact that Mookie is also like just playing out of his mind is also, I think, putting some pressure on Trout's legacy.
Yeah. I just want to put this into perspective for everybody so we don't get too ahead of ourselves. I'm not saying, I know you weren't saying he was better.
I think I'm like saying other places like what I keep hearing now.
Yeah.
Like for Pete's sake, his Harper's SSP or SP image variation from Stadium Club just sold for what? What was that?
$1,000. Yeah, $1,088.
Yeah, $1,088 for a serial number to 200 print run image variation. Like what?
For Harper?
Yes, the one with the Phillies logo in the background.
Yep.
The Trout with Mookie and Judge, the selfie one, that one just went for like $300.
Yeah.
That's just I don't know. So
Scott,
anyways,
who else is starting Trout is Manny Machado. I'm just kidding. Oh, that's a joke. I'll cut that out.
You can leave it.
You don't get to throw jokes out here, and if they tank, you edit them out. Like,
yeah, what's up with that?
We have to live in the silence, Phil.
Let's talk about Royce Lewis on pace for 25 WAR.
So one thing I'll say about this, you can actually make it so they have to have a specific number at bats, games played percentage, right? So if we do it by games played, Mookie's on pace for 13 WAR. Like, these are his numbers. This is what Ohtani's on pace for before tonight, as a DH only.
As a DH, this is insane.
So he really is great. If we want to even go to,
we talked about this, like when we were talking about him a few months ago. I specifically brought up what if he breaks Judge's record? What if he breaks a home run record? What if he just goes crazy and hits over 60 home runs? People are going to lose their mind.
including tonight, because on Fangraphs, if you want to rewatch how I got here, you can see exactly what the live WAR is based off a play that's happened. He's at 2.6 WAR with that home run tonight. Plus, he got another hit. So I don't think he can stay this hot the whole year. Obviously, he has. I don't think he will. But regardless, he's been great.
We said we were going to do a short episode.
Yeah. Can you pull this baseball savant page real quick?
This was fun.
If we look at everything else, I'll look at it.
His negative defensive WAR by end of season, because it's based off like a negative plug that DHs get.
Yeah,
it's going to continue to grow. So he was at like negative 2.8 D WAR. It's going to turn into like
negative 12
times 5, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
100. This is surprising. His base running has been that bad.
I think he got thrown out on the bases a couple times.
He does make errors in the bases. He really does. He did that. Yeah. When he was a rookie, he did that a lot.
Crazy. Yeah. This is just like that's straight up video game sliders.
Like, that's ridiculous, right? Like it's like 100. I think what's the lowest red? Like 97? I mean, that's absurd.
Well, lowest actual batted ball profile is 98 sweet spot.
Look at the red dot under the 2024 that he hit a ball. That's got to be the one off Minter, right?
This one? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, look at that. I mean, that's barely on the chart.
So one thing I want to show you, which might be crazy. So exit velocity, he has the highest average exit velocity of his career this year, and he has the hardest hit ball of his career this year.
Yeah.
He also has, if we go to expected batting average, by far the highest, which is based off of launch angle and exit velocity and other factors. XwOBA, that's crazy. Like, technically he's underperforming his numbers what they should be, according to this. So, anyways.
There's a lot of room for narrative, too. I mean, this is like 10 years from now. With Tom Brady, he was one of the last guys picked in the draft. With Ohtani, it was scouts saying this guy is not going to be able to hit in the majors. In 2018, the spring training, like this, he has too many holes in his swing. He's not going to make it as a two-way player.
It was the leg kick.
Yeah.
And he got rid of it in like 2 weeks. It became this.
He still hits a ball.
He's like, I just have to keep my leg down? Okay.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Okay.
Work for Javi Baez too, I think, right?
So I need to ask you guys a question.
Why, Phil? Why?
Last question of the episode. So we talked about Otani's pricing. I want to show you some cards in comparison to the values, right? So here's my Instagram page, Otani's, which is sad.
This is very sad. Sorry.
This one, though, I paid like $6,000, $6,500 for, right? For a red Goldschmidt that I love. Mookie Betts was about $5,000, $4,000 to $5,000 there's only like 3 graded between PSA and BGS this high. It's just, are those cards just significantly better than these in your eyes long-term for some of these players like the Soto, the Mookie, or do you think it's a slam dunk? Or do we think that they might be a little too high? Like, really, I want to hear your final thoughts. Would you sell these cards by Ohtani right now?
No.
Okay.
No.
Which one
no hesitation,
would you say no about? The Goldschmidt you hang on to because I think the price you paid for that was good.
Yeah.
I agree.
Lowest sale of the last 18 months.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would look at who you're collecting, and if you have a glut of certain players, like Jeff and I were just talking about my pile of Freddie Freemans, and that could definitely be thinned out for another Ohtani card. For
I
sure.
thinned out my Mookie Betts collection this offseason, and I'm really sad still about it. But let me buy all these cards I never could have purchased. So
yeah,
Scott, the way to do it is wait for the flood, the influx of supply that happens when Ohtani's about to win his 3rd MVP, and buy it
already baked in.
I mean, that's a safe way to do it. That's the way my buddy who runs with Bulls 23 does it on Instagram.
Shout him it.
Yeah. He'll wait till Mahomes wins his 3rd Super Bowl, and then he'll buy a gold prism. And then weeks later, everybody's saying, wow, that was a steal. How did that go for so much less than Luka? Luka hasn't even done anything.
Yeah.
That could work. Aaron Judge, I got some good deals on his stuff. Literally after he hit 63. It's just weird. Sometimes you see the most rare cards come up in quantities.
Yeah. It's funny. It's the buildup that gets people excited. It's the will he hit 63 and not as much he did hit 63.
You just need to buy Stadium Club Rainbow foils, Scott.
That's smart.
Invest.
Yeah, those are beautiful. Tell me what you guys think about this card. I think this is the best second-year card.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
This card, what did it go for?
It's still up. It's currently sitting on eBay. It's not mine.
What's it at?
It is at 385 with about 2 days left.
It's gonna go for what, $1,000 to $2,000, maybe less.
I think the last raw went for like 700.
Yeah,
So
this card's cooler than a lot of the rookie cards that are $3,000 to $4,000 right now to me.
Yeah. This is a special card. I like this card a lot. So good luck, seller whose name I can't read because my eyes are too old.
Yeah.
And I wish we could give you the shout out, but this video will be out well after this is over.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's a great place to end. Obviously, this was supposed to be like a 30-minute episode, and it's been about an hour. So let us know in the comments down below if we are wrong, if we're right, if you think he's a good buy, a bad buy, if you like him, but he's just too much, whatever you think that's going to be. And we will see you in the next video.